Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at Six Strings Nine Lives. Finally back for a CD and vinyl update. Oh, I bet it's been at least 8 weeks, probably close to 8 weeks since my last update. Just haven't been picking up as many items, at the pace that I once was. Just trying to make, less mistakes, less impulse buys, you know how those are. And I guess for me, trying for, quality over quantity. And yes, the quality part is in the eye of the beholder. I won't tell you how to spend your money. It's none of my business. And you know what? We will all watch videos and shake our heads and say, what does he need 3 formats for? Why does he need 3 variants of that? Like I said, none of my business. Is whatever makes you happy. That's the main thing. Actually, the main thing is we're here celebrating or talking about the music we love. So I'd love to hear in the comments what you've been picking up lately, discovering older bands, things like that, filling a few holes, picking up some new releases. That's what I'm here for too. But before we get rolling on this update, which I probably have a little more than usual, probably a little more than my 10, maybe 13 items or so this time. But I've been asked, and you won't see me hold up the new Kerry King album, not yet anyways. I've been asked about it. Let me give you a couple of thoughts. First off, I am a Slayer fan, maybe not as big as of some of you guys, but Kerry King, his new album is actually, the music part is really growing on me. I was on the fence to begin with that, but it's very similar sounding to the last Slayer album, Repentless. It actually might even be a little bit better musically. But for me, it's the vocals that I just can't get past. Yes, I know who's on it. Mark Osenguita from Death Angel, which I'm a huge fan of Death Angel. But this is the shoutiest version of Mark I've ever heard. And actually, the vocals are almost irritating to my ears. I know that might sound dumb to some of you guys, but I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. And then I thought about it. Do I really want the Death Angel version of Mark on someone else's album? Well, probably not really. But yeah, really harsh, shouty. Sustaining that live, I don't know. He's going to probably have to dial it back a little bit. But like I said, the music part definitely growing on me. It's not a bad album at all. And like I said, we'll see. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking, or, have you picked up that album? Have you heard it a few times? But also coming up, and I'm filming this video, 1 or 2 days earlier than what I'll tell you about. There is the second single or song released from the new Flotsam and Jetsam album. The new song is called Primal, which I'll hear tomorrow, but when you're watching this video, it's already been aired, and I will put a link in the description to that song, as well as the first single, which I believe is the title track, I Am the Weapon. There's no date as of right now released, but with that single being released tomorrow, there probably will be some more info, so I will put it in the description. I'm a huge Flots fan. I am that guy who looks way past Doomsday and No Place for Disgrace, 2 absolute thrasher pieces, but there is much more to discover with this band. And to me, they have been on a real roll since, signing with AFM Records, which this new album will come out. So this would be their 4th in a row on AFM Records, and just, yeah, top-notch, big Flots fan here too. Let me know if you're gonna, check out those tracks or pick up the album. But let's get into this update before we go on a little too long. Had a conversation with a friend of mine, Jurgen, and he said, excuse me, he said to me, I don't know, just out of the blue, he says, you need the first 4 Warlock albums, or actually it's the only 4 Warlock albums in your collection. And I'm like, you know what? The only one I've ever owned on cassette was Triumph and Agony. And then I got listening to the first 3, and I'm like, you know what? He's not wrong. I do need them. So I found this cool little box set on Amazon, only $38, which includes the only 4 Warlock albums. It is called I Rule the Ruins, which is a song on Triumph and Agony. It's one of those clamshell style boxes with the albums in the sleeves. You know, not my favorite. Those little sleeves aren't my favorite for sure, but I thought, you know, economically, this is a good way to own these 4 albums and really check them out. So this set, like I said, little clamshell box. There's the back with, we have 1984's Burning the Witches. And there's the back cover. So, of course, you know, U.D.O is the lead vocalist. And I don't have a lot of U.D.O in my collection, but we can talk about that in a second. But this is a really good album. Burning the Witches, that song is fantastic. Signs of Satan, actually, Homicidal Rocker, another great track on that one. And then the second one, and these are those sleeves. I'll show you one disc. I have these little sleeves that I can throw in here so they don't get scratched, but every disc looks like this, just a different color. So there's a track listing on there and stuff like that. This one actually has some bonus tracks, but this is their second album called Hellbound from 1985. There's a young U.D.O on there, and I think the first 2 albums, 2 or 3, have Rudy Graff, who was also a part of, I think, the first 2 Rage albums, or 1 or 2 Rage albums, but there's the back cover. Another really good album too, Hellbound, the title track, All Night, check out that song, or, where is it? Shout It Out, another great one. So that's the second album that came in that set. And this one, definitely one of my favorites in the set. This is 1986's True as Steel. And this one's still hard to read here. Yeah, a couple lineup changes. And the thing I was talking to my friend Jurgen about was, like, there's guys on here like Frank Riddle and Peter Stieglitz, if I'm pronouncing that right. But in the German metal scene, there is tons of interchangeable parts. And what I mean, there's so many great bass players, guitar players, drummers that are in and out of different bands like Running Wild, U.D.O, you know, even Accept, things like that. There's many more to add to that list, but all top-notch musicians, and have either been in different bands before this or have gone on to do other things. But this is True as Steel. Yeah, really good album too. And that track listing is super hard to read on that little thing, but I would say Fight for the Rock, great track too. Speed of Sound, and the title track for sure, True as Steel, and the lead-off track, Mr. Gold. And this is the one I knew from the very beginning. This is Triumphant Agony, with the first video I ever saw on Canada's Much Music is All We Are, just a fist-pumping anthem. And then, of course, I Rule the Ruins. And then there is the ballad, Für Irmer. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, too. Metal Tango, another good one, too. A couple lineup changes on that one, too. But this is a fantastic album if you've never heard this one. But cool little box set. Comes with a nice booklet right here. And like I said, if you want to get into a band or something that you've missed, and you want to start off with a small set like this, nothing wrong with that. So yeah, just filled with the whole history of Warlock. And then, of course, those of you that have followed U.D.O after, in 1989, she came out with her debut album called Force Majeure. I own that one, but I don't own a lot of U.D.O, but this one's kind of really got me interested in some U.D.O albums. I think some of the newer stuff would be more up my street, but I know there's some in the middle that, you know, is a little iffy. But anyways, great little set. And okay, I did a review on this album. Last video was an Accept ranking. So brand new album from Accept, Humanoid. I will show you this very quickly. And we've talked about this one. You know that the nice throwback to the metal heart right here, and the whole outside window looking onto this futuristic city is metal heart shaped. The one I showed I showed the black vinyl version in my review. And unfortunately, that one was warped and I had to send it back. So I had placed an order directly from Napalm Records, which this one came from. Gatefold, and I'll show you what's in here. There is the metal heart with all the band members on it right there. Of course, you know, produced by Andy Sneap, Wolf Hoffman and the gang. Here is all the lyrics. And this one I ordered, I believe it is a Napalm exclusive. And I don't know what the blue's called, but I'm going to call it Metal Heart Blue. And there it is. The centering, same on both sides. Yeah, not a bad Accept album. If you want to check out go check out my Accept ranking video if you'd like. And I was wearing a t-shirt in that video, and a couple people have asked me about that. So I will hold that up so you can see the full thing. This is the Humanoid t-shirt from this album. And there is my size, large, hopefully not going into an extra large. Anyways, I'm showing you this Napalm. Napalm's t-shirts, the 3 or 4 that I have from them are top-notch quality. I like my t-shirts not too thick a cotton. You know, even this one's just perfect. It's thinner. You know, wash them inside out, hang to dry, things like that. They'll last for a long time. But if you are ever wondering about Napalm's shirts, yeah, pretty top quality. So, and it's Accept, one of my top 4 traditional metal bands of all time. So I did pick up this version of the CD. This is the hardback. The single CD is one of those sleeves, and I'm like, no, pass. And this one also includes the cover song of Hard Times. And what I like about this, it just has way more, like it has a great booklet. The CD is right here, anti-static. And then you have this awesome booklet with all the lyrics and stuff. But then it goes into all these collage photos. It just goes on and on. This is probably like 20 pages of just cool stuff. And a picture, where is that? Because I did not see this. This would have been cool to have these photos in the vinyl version. But there's this, and then they're all in this humanoid getup. Pretty neat too. But yeah, I like this. And it, like I said, it has that bonus track of Hard Times. And I also picked this up. I didn't even know I was getting a magazine with this. I didn't read it. I just like, I need this. This is a Metal Hammer exclusive collector's edition 7-inch of Humanoid and The Reckoning, which were the first 2 tracks released from the album. Brand new songs, first time on vinyl. And yeah, Metal Hammer. And here is the actual 7-inch. I'll hold that up. It is the same on both sides, but I thought that would be cool to have. And here is the Metal Hammer magazine it came in. The only problem is the whole thing is in German, but so I'll read the pictures, and that's about it. But yeah, I haven't had a Metal Hammer magazine forever, but yeah, the whole thing's in German, so might have to get Jurgen over to translate for me. But yeah, so this came literally on the front like this, and that's how that came. So that's it for the Accept stuff, and I think we'll leave Accept alone for a little while, although we have some cool Accept related stuff to show you here today. But we're going to jump over to the one item. I was out of town for Record Store Day, but I have a good friend of mine looked out for me and picked this up. This only thing I really wanted from this Record Store Day was Forbidden Omega Wave. This is their 2010, originally released in 2010. Love this album cover too. This is the same guy, Ken Matteau. Does that say that? Yeah, Ken Matteau, who did the first 2 covers of their first album, Forbidden Evil, and then Twisted into Form. But this is a good album. I do have it on CD, but I thought I'm going to pick this up because I would say if you're a fan of Forbidden, this is the essential 3rd album you need. Their 3rd and 4th album, one's called Green and the other one's called, I think it's called Distortion. Those two are just not good in my opinion. I don't own them. I don't feel like I'd need them, but this one I definitely do need. So this is a reissue from Record Store Day. There is the hype sticker for that one. Originally came out in 2010 on Nuclear Blast, and that version has just skyrocketed in value. Let me pull this out here too. And of course, you still have Russ Anderson on vocals. These guys are still going as far as I know, but Russ Anderson is no longer in the band. But there is the lineup with Steve Smith, his second guitar player. You still got Craig, Matt, and of course, like I said, Russ Anderson. So this one comes with a cool little 2-page of the album cover and of the band, and then you got a whole write-up of what was going on and a lot about this album, of course. And then it came on to vinyl, and does it say on here? Well, it's kind of like a splatter version. So here is side A and B. Centering's the same on both sides, but it's a blue clear splatter on that one. And then we have a red. So kind of, goes with the cover, the red and the blue skulls. There is that one. Yeah, if you haven't heard this one, this is one that I really do enjoy and do listen to quite often. I know the first two albums quite well, and those are absolute thrasher pieces that need to be if you're into thrash, you probably already own Forbidden Evil and Twisted into Form. What are we going to move on here with? Well, I'm listening to a little bit of death metal, actually the band Death in the background. If you followed me for a few years, you know that I was never really a big death metal guy. And the death metal bands that I listen to these days, you could definitely count them on 1.5 hands. But I do, the death metal that I do enjoy, which is probably the more simple, straightforward, maybe some of it like the band I'm going to show you next has some thrashy or speedy elements to it. A lot of the vocals are an acquired taste for some of these bands, but I still, Death, great band. Probably my favorite death metal band for sure would be Obituary, but been listening to bands like Asphyx or a little bit of Cannibal Corpse, things like that, and Vader, which to me is the least death metal-y death metal that I listen to, because I think over the years they've evolved to more of a thrashy, speedy style, even some epic moments. But the vocals lately, over the past whatever album, 6, 7, you can understand everything he says. But anyways, I had to add to my Vader collection, which is kind of got myself hyped up. I did a video of bands that need a new album out, and there are definitely Vaders on that list. So first up, the first 3 I'm going to show you were picked up and sent to me by a good friend of mine, which we look out for each other. I'll pile up stuff for him, he'll pile up stuff for me, and just sending back and forth really things that we want. But anyways, totally appreciate that. But here's their 4th album from 2000 called Litany, and this is a really good album. I will do a Vader ranking video eventually. I'm only missing one of their albums now, which is called Black to the Blind, which I think is their 3rd album, and I'm hoping Nuclear Blast will reissue that one if they get the rights to it. But here's Litany from 2000. Great album. Here's the disc, and here I'll show you this. There is the disc, Metal Blade. So this is the first one on Metal Blade, and check out the track for sure. The title track, Litany, or Zephyr, the 3rd track, top-notch thrash for sure. So not thrash, well, death thrash almost. I would throw it in that category. But yeah, so there's Litany, and then the second one is their 5th album from 2002. So and second one to be released on Nuclear Blast. This one is called Revelations. Yeah, this is one of those, well, for death metal bands that I've really gravitated to. Really enjoy Vader. And cool name too. I mean, who doesn't like Darth Vader? Which, if you're a Star Wars fan. Anyways, there's Revelations. And there's the band shot there too. This one too, just a solid album top to bottom. I would say, well, we'll save the ranking part later, but there is a band shot. Check out the tracks. Where is it? Wolf Tribe for sure. When Darkness Calls. The Code. That's definitely one of my favorites from this album. Don't know these as well as I will in the future, but I'll keep working on listening to these. And two more. Sixth album, 2004. This one's called The Beast. Now, out of the 3 I've shown you now, this would be my least favorite so far. But not enough listens to really tell you exactly where I would put it. But there's The Beast, and this is the third and final one that was released on Metal Blade Records, and they went to a different label after that. A lot of great tracks on this one too. The Sea came in at last. There's Insomnia. There's kind of a little bit of a cool intro on this one. And Out of the Deep is the track that follows. Really good. And is it Firebringer? But yeah, so there is The Beast. And then finally, out of the Vader stuff, which is their 7th studio album. So this is their 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th studio album I'm showing you. Now, this is probably, well, I hope I didn't say the other one was my favorite, but man, this is a good album. This is Impressions in Blood from 2006. This one was released on a different label, Candlelight Records. And if you know that label, man, their stuff becomes scarce fast. But there is Impressions in Blood, 2004. And man, the track that I absolutely love on here, where is it? So hard to read this. Warlords. Yeah, check out that track. And then, is it called The Code? Yeah, this is all in very hard writing to read. So anyways, another track, Predator. But Warlords, man, is that a great track. These are just full of more thrashier in the riffs, I would say, but the vocals are still, you definitely consider them death metal. But so there's the Vader stuff, filling some holes. Just one more to go, and we got that complete. And then eventually I will do a Vader ranking. And then to wrap things up today, I told you there's some death metal. There is some Accept related items, and that is U.D.O. So AFM Records released, probably, I think it was about 2 months ago, they released U.D.O's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th album, which is Solid, No Limits, Holy, and Man and Machine. And I thought at that point, what I was hoping for is that they would reissue Animal House, Mean Machine, Faceless World, and Time Bomb. But they did not. Hoping those will be next, but what came in between is these 4 that I picked up on vinyl. Again, I'm a huge U.D.O. Dirk Snyder fan, except blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before, but U.D.O. is a band that I have been following since U.D.O. left Accept in 1987 and continued to this day. But first up on these reissues is Thunder Ball. This is their, what is this one? This is their first album to be released on AFM Records. This is the debut on AFM Records. And what do we got here? This is 2004. So this would be, what did I say before? 8. So I'm going to show you their 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th studio album. But AFM Records, what a great job they've done with this set. There's the back cover. And there is the gatefold. There's no printed inner with that, but this one comes on a limited edition red vinyl. So each one of these I'll show you is limited to 1,000 copies. AFM Records is one of those labels that if you don't get their stuff within, you know, the first year or so, it can become scarce. But all these have the same kind of center ring style, but there is the vinyl for that. The red Thunderball from 2004. And we still have, and then coming up next is Mission Number 10, 10th overall studio album. And this one is from 2005, so only a year apart. Did I mention that I've done a U.D.O ranking too? You can check that out if you'd like to. Big fan of the band. There is the gatefold. So as far as these ever getting issued, or did they ever come out on vinyl in the first place on AFM Records in 2004 and 5? I don't know. Let me know if you own an original, but these reissues are really well done. This one comes on a purple, which is, I think some of the other ones, I don't know if it was No Limits or Holy came on purple. I mean, you can only have so many colors, but glad to have these on vinyl. I will continue to pick up, especially if those first 4 come out, I will snap those up too. So what do we have? 9, 10, this is 11th studio album. This one's 2007's Masticutor. This is a great album. Love this album cover too. And if you've not heard this one, and like I've said, they did a great job on these. The covers are not overly glossy or anything like that. There is, and there's the band. So at this point, I should talk a little bit about these band. Stefan Kaufmann, which is the drummer of the classic era of Accept, is right here. Guitar player in U.D.O and tons of production. At this point, who did we have on drums? We had Francesco Givino, so another one of those German players that has played in more than one band. Great drummer, and of course, long-time bassist Fiddy Weinhold still on this album. And this one came on, again, it says limited edition. This one is on red vinyl. So I went back to, is that kind of the same red? No, this one's like a transparent. This one's not, a little more transparent red. But yeah, really good album. If you want to check out 1 or 2 from U.D.O, I would highly recommend Masticutor. And then finally, I didn't see this one coming on vinyl. I thought they would, skip over and get the next studio album, but instead they came out with, and this is in the same year. Masticutor came out in 2007. They came out with the Metalized, which is, I've seen this on CD. I don't own this one on CD. No, I don't. But thought, you know what? I'm going to get it. This is part of the whole set. Anyways, this is basically a best of. There is some tracks from every one of the U.D.O albums. And this one comes on a dark green vinyl. I'll show you one of those in a bit. But we got one track, I believe, from every one of the studio albums. There's a couple leftover tracks from the Masticutor sessions, and then there's some bonus material, which are those 2 unreleased tracks. And then there is a acoustic version of Balls to the Wall, and then there is a live track of one of their tracks called Bullet and the Bomb. This one is, and this is just like best of collages of the different bands. There's been multiple lineup changes with this band. I covered off a lot of that in my ranking video, but this is a double vinyl, and I'll just show you one. This green is pretty cool, actually. And there we go. There is this green. Looks great. These sound awesome. Looking forward to, hopefully, like I said, AFM Records reissuing those first 4 U.D.O albums. But there is my update. Probably went on again a little too long, but oh well. Hope you enjoyed that one. Until next time, stay heavy.